Okay, welcome everyone to the Diana Wright Show live online. It is Wellness Wednesday and Dax is standing by to join us, and as he does that, then we are going to talk about a lot of things that affect you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey, and then we are going to just delve into some obesity things, thinking about obesity, and also fasting. Fasting is something that's actually good for you. And I'm not quite sure why my sound is sounding like it does. So, okay, let's see if that is a little better. I think so. Yes. Okay. All right. So we want to, just before we get to Dax, I just want to, go through some of the things that we need to go through here. And I'm still not hearing what I'm supposed to be hearing in my headphone. I am getting an echo from something and I'm not quite sure. Okay, I think I have to go consult my big journey, my big rig in Atlanta, because every time I do this, I'm getting some sounds that I don't like. All right, anyway, let's see what we got here. Okay, Dax, welcome to the program. Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Glad to be here and glad to be with your viewers today.
Okay. All right. I just want to remind people that this program is a program of LOVE. We encourage you to love yourself and to make sure that you are doing this every single day. If you watch my tweets, I will remind you every day and ask you if you actually did that, and did you go to the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself? Yeah, so, that's something I want to make sure that you understand and you keep abreast every single day. All right? Okay, Dax, what's going on this morning? Let's go ahead.
For me, the whole obesity issue is beyond a business. It's really about trying to figure out why is it that obesity is so prevalent today. And what can we do about it? Not just how can I sell a product or how can I sell a service, but as a whole, in terms of what are the major contributing factors that are creating this situation in the society.
Okay, let's. It's actually chronic because I think a lot of young people or kids are eating too much carbs. So I want to focus on that. How important is it to cut carbs out of our diet?
I think the carb and the fat and those are misinformation that lead us down a very slippery slope, and it doesn't solve the problem. That I know that listening to this show right now, there are people who have eliminated certain foods from their diet for a certain period of time and seen little or no results in terms of weight loss.
Okay.
Recently meaning about 8 months ago, I actually came across a program that was talking about sugar, but importantly it was emphasizing the fact that all carbs are not equal. So we have the scientific community has said a carb is a carb is a carb, and that if you cut out carbs, the carbs represent the energy for the body, and carbohydrates are high in energy. And if you have too much carbs, then the body doesn't know what to do with it and stores it as fat.
Okay, but they're also calling sugar cocaine too. Yeah, I've heard them say sugar is just like taking cocaine, and I'm going, so severe. Back up here, back up.
Well, and I think that both carbs, sugar, and even fat are getting a bad rap. Because, and while somebody listening might say, well, he's on the whole detox thing, so that's his thing. But I'm saying historically, the detox has been a very, very important aspect of maintaining health. That in Jamaica we say you need to get a washout. You didn't get a washout when you were sick. You got a washout because everybody had to take a washout at the end of summer because
before you go back to school.
Right?
That is so true. You said that, and I go, ooh, I got all those flashbacks of taking.
There you go. And I'm saying, it's not some country person that. It's somebody who understands how important the body is, whether it came from Africa, whether it came from India, whether it came from China. And by the way, you know, our program, my wellness regime is significantly influenced by India. And growing up in Jamaica, I always was fascinated with the Chinese Jamaican.
Okay, all right.
And I have a lot of respect for them as a community, the way they're able to build economic,
wealth.
But I've always been attracted to the Indian community.
Well, we know.
Indian food, So I actually yoga was the thing that kind of said, okay, this is an exercise. I've heard so many great things about it. I want to understand it more. And I want to address the Christian community that might be listening to say yoga is non-Christian. Not true.
No, it's not. It's not true. I mean, people come up with these things, and I wonder, they get some people sucked into it, but I'm wondering, are people actually penetrating what these people are saying? How does a breathing relaxation exercise get you to be not religious?
Well, and a part of it is that yoga is very closely tied to the Hindu religion. So if you're saying, okay, because I'm practicing yoga, I'm a Hindu, then you're making a mistake.
Oh, okay.
That you can be a Christian and practice yoga without in any way compromising your Christian principles. So I need to get that out of the way. Right?
Okay, wonderful that we've gotten that out.
Right, Anna, you said it right. Yoga is about breathing, and the concept is that the breath is the life force energy, that we bring it into the body, and when we can pay attention to how the breath is being used in the body, then we can give the body more energy, and as well as detox the body, because it's one thing to bring the air in, but you also have to take it out, and when it takes it out, it's taking out a lot of the carcinogens and the toxins that the body creates as it burns energy for fuel. So the byproduct of life is carbon dioxide. The fuel of life is oxygen and the air that we breathe.
Right.
And yoga gives you the tools to manage those two things. So I mention all of that because we're talking about obesity, and I'm saying, when you look at India didn't have an obesity problem, but now they're starting to see it more prevalent.
Yep.
And why? Is it because there's so much processed foods that are now being introduced? So it's not the sugar. Sugar, fat, carbohydrates have always been in Indian. Any Indian restaurant you go to and you eat some Indian food.
Roti.
Full of carbs, full of protein,
Yes.
full of carbohydrates. Sugar is there. They have the desserts, the sweets, and everything else. But the problem is when the body is unable to process these things, then they start building up in the body. And I'm saying it comes right back to the washout and the detox and being able to keep the body in balance. And a big part of that is supporting the elimination process, the bowel movements, the urination, but most of all, the hydration and the breathing makes a significant difference in terms of avoiding the obesity.
And, I want to go back to the washout that you talk about when we grew up as kids. Because I remember my grandmother going, because I'm like, why am I have to take this? And she goes, well, we're trying to get the worms out. So I guess the worms is the same thing as what we're talking about now, the pesticides, right?
Yes. So we say worm because worm is what we can see. But there is a whole colony of microbial organisms that live in the intestines that are absolutely necessary. So the big push in the market is probiotics. We see the Activia, the yogurt. We see all probiotics. We have a whole line of lots of probiotics. All of them claiming to be the best. Don't fool yourself. They're all the same.
So can you then back up and tell us what are probiotics anyway?
Probiotics are antibiotics, are the things we use to kill the bacteria in our bodies. And probiotics are the things we use to support, or they're the necessary bacteria to support life in the body. That food does not break down in your intestines by anything except the microbial organisms. The bacteria in your intestines actually ferments, breaks down the food, and then your body can digest it. But it's not your body doesn't produce those bacteria. It just gives them a place to live. So the enzymes in your saliva, the gastric juices that your body produces, they help to support an environment where microbial organisms like the probiotics can live in order to break down food and maintain health and wellness in the body. But the processed foods create an imbalance in the microbial organisms and cause there to be too many of the wrong type of bacteria. The carb-hungry, sugar-hungry bacteria build up down there and then cause the person to start craving carbs because there's too many of them and then they need more and more and more carbs and they're not allowing the body to process the foods it needs and therefore we gain the weight.
Okay, my special guest this morning is Dax Dunn from Rad Wellness Center. And of course, Rad Wellness Center is located in Florida in Plantation. The number to call is 866-786-3617. Their website, rad4u.com. And you can give Dax a call and get all his advice that you need. But Wednesday is the day that we have him here to tell you and share his knowledge with you. So detox, as you can see, is not a new thing. We've been doing it since we were kids. And now that Dax reminded me, I'm going, yes, I remember that so well. Every single summer, after you ate up all those mangoes and those fruits and all those things, my grandma would say, come on now, time for the washout. And I just decided, I'm going to say it, someone called Dax. I am asking you, please, do not call Dax while he's on the show because you cut out his video when you do that. So we're asking you not to call Dax while he is on the air with me, okay? So all of Dax's friends and family members and business people, do not call him within the hour of 10:30 and 11:30, okay? You have to be able to do without him for an hour. Come on now. Okay. So now that we've gotten that out of the loop, I want to ask you something that I've been thinking about a lot because there's a lady who deals with therapy for the brain with children who have had brain injuries, and she recommended that you don't use aluminum foil to cook with. Have you found any of that in your research?
Well,
in your journey?
Everything, mercury, aluminum, even iron, everything we use can become toxic at certain levels.
Okay.
So it's about managing it. If every time you cook you're using aluminum foil, you're going to build up an overexposure of it. So there's what they call heavy metals.
Right.
All of these metals that build up in the body, and unfortunately, a lot of the processing process, the packaging and the processing. So tin. So when you have a tin can, all of these things, there's a lot of the metals that are used in it, and they can end up in the body. But again, the process is detoxing. For example, it's synonymous with bathing. So let us say the approach could be, we're not going to go outside because we don't want to get dirty, so we don't have to take a bath.
Right.
Even if you stay inside, you're still going to have enough sweat and enough grime on you that you should take a bath.
Yes.
So you cannot avoid detoxing by avoiding metals. What you have to do is manage the exposure to metals, but do constant detox that prevents the buildup of any kind of metals in the body. So yes, foil is something to be careful of, but at the same time, foil is not it. I mean, it's not the only thing that if you avoid foil, then you don't have any problems.
Right.
You have to avoid the toxins in general. Foil is one of them. Aluminum is one.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, all of us who like to put our fish, you know, when we're baking the fish, we like to put it in there and put that okra in there and whatever. So, what would you? Well, I guess you could use parchment paper, but parchment paper doesn't seem to do the job as well.
Well, again,
in my experience, because I've used both, and I think the foil kind of does it better. I don't know if it's because it's more dangerous for you or what.
No, you can combine the two. You can combine the two. You can put the foil, the parchment paper in the foil. So the direct contact with the food is with the parchment paper, but the parchment paper has the wax in it. So
yes, so you kind of, oh boy. Well, I don't know. Things are just getting worse as they get better.
No, the purpose of this program is to help people to stop being overly sensitive to any one thing, to understand the importance is to find balance in your life.
Right.
It's not about eliminating everything. It's about being able to manage these things. So if you drink enough water, if you give yourself enough time during the day to properly eliminate,
right,
eat foods that support your body's natural ability to detox, then the foil, the wax, all of those things become secondary. They don't become the primary things that build up. But if you know, am I making sense?
Yes, you are.
All right.
Okay. I want to go to something that, because I know for your plan, you recommend that if you're going to have breakfast on the plan, you should just eat one fruit or whatever fruit you choose, right?
I recommend that in life, you're better off in between 4 a.m. and 12 noon, only putting, if you can, avoid all foods in the morning because your body is eliminating, and this goes totally against what we've been told about.
Yes, because that's what I'm going to get to, because Dr. Oz, he put out, 8 things here, and one of the things he says, don't skip breakfast. And I'm going, Dr. Oz, when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel for any food. Why are you trying to get me to eat? I am not hungry. Well, and people are saying, oh, you need to break the fast because basically you've fasted all night, so you need to break it. But I don't feel that in my system. And even when I was a kid, I can tell you, my mom used to make me breakfast. It was in the sink or in the garbage when she turned her back because I'm just not hungry in the morning.
And I'm going to put it all together for you. If you look at any fasting program, breaking the fast is about introducing natural healthy foods, fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
If you really want to break the fast, what you're going to have is fruits and vegetables in the morning. We'll break the fast so that when noontime comes, you can have the pancake and the eggs and the heavier foods at that point. So I still maintain Dr. Oz is well-intentioned, and eating something in the morning is fine as long as it's only fruits or vegetables. But if you're not hungry because you're not doing manual labor.
Yeah, when you're sleeping, you're resting.
There you go. And giving the digestive system a chance to rest throughout the night throughout the morning is also very supportive of the natural ability to eliminate and cleanse.
Okay, my special guest inside the Diane White Show is Dax Dunn from Rad Wellness Center in Plantation. And I am going to tell you a little bit about my journey. I did it for 10 days.
I want you to tell them about it. I'm going to just step away for 1 quick second.
Okay. All right. Dax is going to step away for a quick second. So I'm going to tell you about my journey. I started and I felt a little weird after the 4th day. After the 4th day, I kind of felt weary. But then for me, it is about that I am not able to do detox very well. That's just me. Even when I was talking about my grandmother earlier, when my grandmother used to give me whatever she mixed up and whatever, I used to like pass out some of the times. So my system is just not able to process the whole, coming out of stuff in an instant. Okay? For myself, before doing this detox, I tried, the one with the cayenne pepper and the maple syrup and lemon juice. I tried that, but because you don't have that support, after 3 days you kind of get frustrated and you have your family eating all this food around you, so your resistance become weak. Okay? Then the best one that I have actually found before I did Dax's detox is the vitamin C. I did vitamin C, just that emergency that's sold in the store. You do extra amount of packets in one go, and it truly cleans out your system. So that's the only thing that I found that works for me, that I don't feel sick or feel weak or anything like that. I feel cleansed, but I feel good. So that's something that I've tried. But this detox journey with Dax's products is on a totally different level, because you feel like you're not just cleansing through your bottom, you're cleansing through your throat also. And things are coming out that, you're going, where did that come from? That was in me, in my body, after I'm trying so hard to do the right thing, so stuff like that. So I just want you to make the right choice. I do believe that detoxing is good whether you're trying to lose weight or you're not. For me, detox is about cleansing my body from whatever I figure shouldn't be there. It's also good because it cleanses your colon, right? And that's a big thing, because when you become, 40 or 50, most of the times it's 50, but it seems nowadays that doctors are recommending a little earlier, especially if you have a family history, to do a colonoscopy, when you're 45. But 50 is the recommended age, because I've seen people go at 50 and there's big, problems there. So if you have a family history in particular, you need to pay attention, just like anything else. Like Dr. Melanie talked about last night, that if you have family history with fibroids, you should kind of make sure you're watching yourself and checking for that. All right? So, excuse me. So that's a part of my journey with the detox, because it cleanses your body. It truly does. And yes, it's hard to not be eating, but you actually don't feel hungry on this detox. I guess it's something in that BOL that, makes you not hungry, or something in the raspberry keynotes. I'm not sure. When Dax comes back, then we'll ask him about that. So you actually really truly don't feel hungry. You literally have to force yourself, like on the 5th or 6th day, to try to eat something or have something hot, because you kind of feel a little woozy. For the first 3 days, I think you should really stay close to home. If you have to work, make sure there's a bathroom nearby, because you're going to need it. All right? So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like the 3rd and 4th day, you need to be at that toilet. Okay? So it was a good journey, I would say, and I would love to be on it for 21 days. I just don't think I actually need that, because right now I'm stuck at 123, trying to get to 120, which is my nice magic number. And I'm going to do my best to get there just by following the plan in terms of eating small portions, which I normally do anyway, but I'll just make sure that that's really what I'm doing. Okay? So small portion of protein. I'm not a big carbohydrate eater, but if I feel for a slice of bread, the plan recommends that you stick to Ezekiel bread. If you don't have that, I think, you can go ahead and eat the bread that you are accustomed to eating. All right? So my journey in general was a good one, and I hope that whomever tries the program will have the same experience and better than me, because I just know that my system is not a good detox system. I can remember even when I was a child, I had issues. The only thing that I've actually used to cleanse myself is Emergen-C, and it actually cleansed me, and I don't have any, weakness or anything like that. But this detox Bi-Rad Wellness is totally on a different level. You are cleansed coming up from your throat and you're cleansed going out your butt. So so I had both experience. I don't know if that was supposed to be the experience, but that was mine, Dax.
You know, each of us are different.
Yeah.
I apologize for the running away a while ago.
That's all right.
We're short-staffed today. One of our coaches, her son is sick, so she's out.
Oh, okay.
I just ran down there. There are about 15 people sitting there waiting. So.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
And you know...
I hope what you did was put down the computer so they could watch you.
No, I didn't. I should.
That's what you should have done. You should have put the show on so they watch and hear what you're saying.
Have a big screen TV down there.
Exactly. That's what you should do.
Next time, for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, you're giving your experience on the program.
Yes.
And here's what it is. Every single one of us are different. And when you see these guys selling product and they say, this is the product that you bought. These are the essential ingredients that we found from, you know, the other side of the planet. And if you take this, then everything is going to be perfect. The problem there is that each of us are different. Not only are we different in terms of our physical makeup, we're different in terms of our age, our stage, our lifestyle, our habits, our belief, our customs. And what we are doing is simply helping people to understand the fundamental system that they need to implement, and then working with them over the 21 days to implement it in their life, in their way. That you and your husband live in the same house, but you have different schedules, you have different routines, you have different interests. He may be interested in lifting weights. You may prefer to go for a walk. And the simple thing is understanding that there's no good or bad. We like to say our program is gray, meaning it's not about dogma and my way. And you know, because we're not committed to any one thing, we are not saying we have the product. What we have is a system and a series of products that support that system, but the system is a goal. And what's the system? Simply, detoxing the digestive system allows it to reset, taking the time to drink the water, eat the necessary foods will restore the digestive health, and understanding the use of the probiotics and how to maintain a proper lifestyle will revitalize us in order to experience life at a whole new level.
Okay, and you mentioned getting cures from far places. I know that at one stage the Okinawa diet was one that was big. You know, everybody was talking about the Okinawa and how the people over there, they live until they're 100 and all that kind of stuff, and this is what they eat. And you know, have you kind of looked into that, or is that part of something that you've actually heard about?
I've heard about it. I mean, the Mediterranean diet was one that was
recently. That was one that they're plugging it right now. They really are, the Mediterranean diet.
And again, you know, the unfortunately, there's a tendency to sensationalize things to create a lot of hype. But I would suggest that each of us have to start with ourselves. Start reconnecting with your body. Start asking yourself the questions. Am I doing the things on a daily basis to support health and wellness in my body? If you're stressed out constantly, you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? I'm earning a good living, but I'm killing myself slowly.
In the process.
You know, if you're saying, well, I read everything and it says sodas are not good for me and I'm overweight, but I still, you know, when you sit down with somebody and say, boy, I'm not going to stop eating Burger King. And you say, okay. And they say, well, I'll cut it out for the 21 days to lose the weight.
But I'll go back to it.
I can't promise you that I'm going to stop eating Burger King.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
You have to respect that person's commitment to Burger King.
To Burger King, yeah. You have to definitely respect that person's commitment to Burger King.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there you go again.
Yeah. So again, the point is Okinawa diet. Yeah, okay. Everything has its pluses and its minuses, but we have to understand the problem. I would think that the biggest challenge is that the people in Okinawa are not living at the stress levels that the people in South Florida.
Absolutely not.
You know?
Yes, different level of stress. They are very easygoing. They eat from the land. They plant their own foods. They're peaceful people. They don't get dressed up. That kind of thing. Yes.
And I mean, I enjoy a modern lifestyle. I mean, I had the dream of owning that home on 2 acres.
Yes. Right? Okay. Join the company here now.
Never get to 2 acres. I was on 1 acre and a quarter. It was still big enough. And I remember when I don't know if I told the story with you before, but I remember when I was buying that house, the couple that was moving out of the house, I remember saying to him, "Boy, I'm going to enjoy the lawn." And the man looked at me and said, "I surely didn't enjoy cutting it every other week."
Well, you just hire someone to do it.
There you go, but guess what? After 3 or 4 years of being in the house, all I was doing is paying somebody to cut the lawn, because when on occasion I would go out there and say I'm going to
do it yourself
and enjoy myself, the sandfly start biting you on the
Exactly.
Come and do it yourself,
It was a beautiful house, though. I've been there. It was a beautiful house. I loved it. I would have loved to own a house like that. It was really nice. But, as you said, be careful what you wish for. When you get it, are you going to be able to handle it?
There you go. So the point I'm making is to say, we need to develop a lifestyle that works for us based on the important things, not what other people are telling us.
Amen.
The American dream is not a house and a picket fence. The American dream is health and happiness and the ability to live in a community. We need to understand we have been set up to compete against each other.
Yes.
But we need to cooperate. We need to first love ourselves.
Yes.
And then understand that we are a part of an integrated, interdependent community, that we can't live alone. We need to support each other. We need to take care of each other. And another things that are important, the farmer needs to be somebody who you say, boy, I want to know a farmer. I want to know somebody who growing things, because I have to honor him. And if you're buying directly from him, you're going to give him a lot more money, because trust me, from the farm to the table, the profit is made on the supermarket side and on the farming side,
Yeah.
Unless you're a Monsanto's.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you this. When people talk about deep breathing, say for instance yoga, a lot of people I think wonder, how can I lose weight doing yoga?
Okay.
Can you explain that?
Absolutely. So think of it this way. Air comes into your body. The same air that you breathe into your lungs. Every single solitary cell in your body has to get that same air. How does it get there? The blood. The blood takes the air from the lungs and moves through your veins all the way down to your big toe, your little toe, all your toes. And every single one of those cells must get oxygen on a constant basis. As long as you're breathing, your entire cellular system is receiving oxygen. But at the same time, the cellular system is giving off waste products as carbon dioxide. And that now has to be carried right back up to the lungs. And what happens is that as we get older and we start slowing down, our posture changes, or level. When a child is running up and down and jumping up and down, his lungs, his rib cage, his entire body is expanding, so he's getting full use of his lung capacity. when an athlete is sprinting, running, and doing hard exercising and having to, he's getting full use of his lungs. But the person who is living a sedentary lifestyle, they're actually restricting the expansion of the lungs, and those cells that are not getting the oxygen at the end of the lungs are starving other cells in the body. And what ends up happening is that the body has to use other means to detox.
Okay.
So it starts using the urine, the water, the other organs in the body to try and compensate for getting rid of this same carbon dioxide. So the skin now starts trying to eliminate, the lymphatic system starts trying to eliminate, your liver, your kidney, all of these organs are trying to eliminate the toxins that have built up. And the primary toxin we create on a daily basis is carbon dioxide. And by breathing deeply, you're eliminating more carbon dioxide in a more efficient way, and then the rest of the body can now return to the things that they have to do. They can start cleaning the cells, removing the fat and the other toxins that build up in the body, and that is what will result in weight loss.
And that's the reason why water is so important when you're detoxing or trying to lose weight, period.
Air and water go hand in hand. What is water? Water is CO2.
Exactly.
So, right? So water has oxygen in it, and it's and hydrogen. But water is essential because of its oxygen properties as well as the hydrogen, and it is a transportation system. But it is the air that ultimately carries the oxygen that we burn on a daily basis to fuel our bodies and energize our life.
H2O. Absolutely. Okay, all right. I want to talk a little bit about colonoscopy, because if someone has a family history of colon cancer, it is recommended that they actually start going for a colonoscopy about 40. But for everyone else, it's 50. I've seen friends go and do it at 50 and they find major problems. So family history is important, even though sometimes when people find problems, it doesn't mean that they necessarily had a family history. The family history started with them. Okay? I believe that the program actually helps you cleanse your colon in such a way that it is excreting a lot of things that would not have been excreted if you're just doing normal stuff. Right. Okay, and having a normal movement. That is for me. Is that a normal thing that people will experience on the program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And look, colonoscopy is a preventative or a test to think, but it's not preventative in any way. It's simply just a check to make sure that's what's there. But
that you don't have any polyps or anything, cancer growing down there or anything like that. That's really what it's for.
Why would a cancer or a polyp grow? It grows because a toxic environment is created. Proper elimination is not happening. Why is proper elimination not happening? Because you're not drinking enough water, you're not breathing deeply, and you're not allowing the body to eliminate. So we go right back to the breakfast argument.
Okay, there you go.
If you're not allowing the colon to cleanse, how many people can say that because they didn't eat breakfast, that they're weak in the evening? I would say that half of them is lie them telling, because I can tell you I don't eat breakfast and I don't have that 2:30 feeling.
Me neither.
Exactly. So people are just believing the logic that says food is energy. If I eat food in the morning, then I'll have enough energy for the rest of the day. Not true. Your body can produce enough energy on its own to take you through 2 or 3 days
without eating.
Without eating.
And that's a fact. I know that for a fact, because even when you're doing any other kind of cleanse, after 3 days is when you're kind of sort of feeling a little woozy.
Right.
And for me, even on the program, I never felt any kind of weakness until my 4th day.
Right.
Almost ended.
I'll tell you something. The wooziness a lot of times is not because you're hungry, it's because your body is actually getting
rid of, yes.
Because if you can stick with it long enough, you'll find that at the 6th, 7th day without eating, you actually have a much greater clarity. Your brain begins to clear, your energy levels actually start to peak. So, you know, again, look, we need to understand who is saying what.
What?
This country is about money.
Money making. It's all about the money.
and we want the food. If they could sell here,
they would sell it, and they now try to sell prayers. You know what I'm saying? And that gets me really mad when I watch television programs. I'm sorry to break from this now, because when you watch television and those ministers are on there going, and if you send us $100, and if you send us this, your prayer will be answered. Lie. I mean, nothing goes like that. That really irritates me. I'm serious. You know, so it's just like what you're saying. People are telling you things because they want you to buy that product. I'm not saying that you shouldn't make a profit on your whatever you're selling, but the thing should work. And I'm just saying to you that for me, the thing worked. Okay, I'm not trying to, you know, boost up Rad Wellness or anything like that. I'm just telling you my journey. It worked for me. I feel better. All my clothes are dropping off, but that's okay too.
Well, listen, I appreciate that, and I'm saying this. There are things we need to do. For example, you have a shoe, your shoemaker need to fix it. You have a clothes. You know, somebody need to cook. Somebody need to clean. There's certain fundamental needs that we have. Farmers are very important. We want to promote the people who are growing good, healthy food. We need them. The problem is the businesses that say we're going to sell the product now. So they're not selling food. What they're selling is a product. They're creating something, and they say, look, you don't need to worry about trying to fix breakfast. Instead, you can buy this breakfast in a box. Or you can buy this fast food, you know, meal replacement.
Right.
And I'm saying, you know, we get a lot of people approaching us to say we have these meal replacement bars and.
Please don't get into that.
No.
Please.
The closest I'll come is to a trail mix, and all I'm doing is saying, look, I'm going to assemble healthy nuts and fruits that are dried, that are convenient, that you can keep in your handbag, keep in your pocket, keep in your car.
Right.
Have a snack.
Okay.
That are high in energy, high in fiber, and good for you. But as far as this meal replacement bar or this smoothie that has this protein shake, foolishness. Avoid them. They themselves are full of toxins. If a food can exist for more than 3 days outside of the fridge and is not a fruit in its whole state, then you need to reconsider that as a food. It's more of something else.
You mentioned farming, and I think that's so important because, like where I live here, there are a couple places that you can go and you get things directly from what people grow, but they're normally so early in the morning. You know, there's one downtown Palm Beach that they come at 6 o'clock, and I'm like, who wants to get up out of their bed at 6 o'clock to go buy food? I don't.
Well, I would only say to you that the secret is just go to bed early the night before.
Okay, all right. Okay, now that you segued into sleep is one of the things I want to talk about, sleep. I know it's important to sleep to lose weight, but how on earth do you get sleep? Sometimes you just can't go to sleep. I don't know what it is.
I'll be honest with you. I have a very overly active mind.
Yes, I'm always thinking.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes it is difficult. It is challenging. But what I do is, you know, I'll do some exercise. I'll go do some push-ups, and I'll just, you know, try and just refocus my attention on something physical.
Right.
And you know, again, just getting in the bed, and you know, a lot of times for me, if I stay up, is the TV I'm watching.
Yes, the
it's
TV.
foolishness.
Yes.
You know? But if I get, and I'll say to myself, why I don't feel like sleeping right now. But if I force myself to actually get into the bed, I'll toss and turn for about 10 or 15 minutes, but eventually you're not off. So, but let's get back to the bottom line. You need sleep. Your body cannot survive without it. Don't. It's not a when you're tired, I will sleep. Believe me, sleep can make all the difference. You can look at a person. You see it around their eyes. You see it around their skin. You see it around their whole, it shows in their face if they're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's nothing to play around with it. It water, breathing, sleep, essential pieces of wellness.
Okay, Dr. Oz is recommending that you respect the 10 p.m. going into your bed thing. And I have been trying it. My only problem is, which I think a lot of women are going to have the same issues, and a lot of people in general, I go to bed at 10, I'm in the bed, I'm relaxing, so I turn the TV on, and I fall asleep, but then I wake up like 2 o'clock, and then I can't go back to sleep.
Trust me, the first thing is no TV in the bedroom.
Oh my God, I cannot do without my TV. I'm sorry. That is one rule I'm not going to change.
I tell you, the problem with the TV in the bedroom is that you'd be surprised. It is going, and while you're sleeping, the subconscious...
No, I put it on sleep, so it goes off.
Okay.
In half an hour, it's gone. No. I do not have it running. I'm sorry. I use my sleep button on my remote is used every single solitary night.
Well, that's better than leaving it on, because people don't know. They wake up with some nightmares and they wonder where these thoughts come from. But is that TV in the background? Your brain is
sucking it, yeah.
And it is receiving those signals and it's receiving that programming. And 9 times out of 10, late night TV don't have anything really consequential that it's sharing. It's infomercials and crap.
Well, that's the reason when I go to my bed, I used to watch the 11 o'clock news just to see if anything new happened. But one night I thought to myself, why am I watching this? People are killing people. That's what I'm going to my bed with. I don't want to go to my bed with this. So I just tuned it out and changed the channel.
Yep.
So I watch no more news at 11. I try to get the news in the daytime when I can work it out of my brain.
Let me ask you this. What about conversations? I mean, it's something that we need to, look, you having these conversations online are getting your fill of conversations, but the average person, to me, is really not spending enough time engaged with the people around them in intelligent conversation. We're not talking about the, mentioning this or mentioning that, or, did you pay the bills?
Right. Okay, Doc, so we got that one. No, for me, my husband is one of those people, before his head actually touched the pillow, he's sleeping. Okay? No matter if the house is falling down, if there's a storm, it doesn't matter. He is sleeping. He can sleep right at a speaker box. Okay? But, so you try to have, for me, in my family, we must have intelligent conversation, all the things to talk about before he hits the sack, because then I'll be talking to myself and then I get mad. Okay? So for me, it's very difficult. So I try to have my conversation before we actually get in bed, because most of the time I'm talking and I go, okay, I don't hear any response. Are you there? No, he's not. He's sleeping.
Again, you don't represent the norm. And I'm saying you.
But I thought that would be the norm, though. Most men seem to fall asleep.
No, we do. We do. Me, my present company included. But I'm saying, you spend a lot of time conversing and sharing your opinion and your feelings, and that is so cathartic in terms of you have things inside you. There are other people that go to work and they don't feel they have a voice.
Yes, that's true.
They come home and they don't feel they have a voice. And they go to bed and they still don't feel they have a voice. And I'm telling you, this job, this work as far as helping primarily women, but everybody, get in touch with themselves has given me such an amazing perspective in terms of seeing and understanding the challenges that people face and how important it is to have a voice, to express yourself, to have people listen and at least just acknowledge you. They don't have to agree with you, but just acknowledge you to say, boy, I understand how you feel. I understand why you feel that way. I can't do anything about it, but at least I care enough to say, I'm hearing you, I'm listening to you.
Well, that's the reason I tell people on the show every day that I am necessarily not going to be able to solve your love problems, but I am teaching you the way to love yourself, so you're not you're not desperate to find that someone to love you back. Because if you love yourself, you're more at ease with everything coming into your life. And I tell women all the time, and men too, you must value yourself.
It's so
you have to value yourself.
Absolutely. And the people should ask themselves the question, where did I learn to love myself? Because the truth is, babies get love.
Yes.
Babies, you're just born, you get the love.
Yeah.
But what you find is that as you get older, then it's about behaving right. And you get what you have is the rules.
The rules and regulations.
Yes. and you must be seen and
not heard. And I don't believe in that. I don't, Dax. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I tell my daughter, you are a person in this house. Your opinion matters, and we want you to speak up. Because if you don't speak up here, where are you going to speak up?
Exactly.
You're not going to go out there and defend yourself. You need to start speaking up here. So if dad does something wrong that you don't like, let him know. If I do something wrong, and I'm always willing to tell my daughter, I'm sorry. A lot of parents don't like to apologize to their children, but I do. I do it all the time.
So I'm saying to you, a lot of people, I think, a lot of people will hear the message, love yourself, and they say, of course I love myself, but do you really, really love yourself? Are you that person who is self-critical, that you make a mistake and then you start beating yourself up and say, how stupid I was, or because somebody took advantage of you, rather than saying, boy, that person was so unreasonable. Instead you say, look how I make the person take advantage, and you take it again, internalizing all of the negatives that you experience to be your fault.
Right.
When in fact, it's not your fault. You are just experiencing things, and you have to now be able to, through the love of self, understand when you can learn something and make a change. We're not saying we're all perfect. We need to learn and grow. But at the same time, we need to be able to defend ourselves, to say, no, I'm not going to take responsibility for that. There was no reason for that person to behave that way.
Exactly.
That way. And I'm not going to accept it.
Yes.
And you have to go fight them and get into any argument with them. It's just, in your heart, you acknowledge the fact that whatever that criticism or that hurtful statement was, is not something I need to make true to me.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I have a friend very dear to my heart, and the person did something that I know they're supposed to be apologizing to me for, and they haven't done so. So what I did gently is I just sent a text saying, you did me something that I think you owe me an apology for, but you seem to have chosen the path of not speaking and malicing. Okay, well, I'm taking the reins now. This is it. We need to speak about it. So to my shock, the person texted me back and apologized.
Sure. We're all really children, we are big people. We are all still operating on the programming that we developed as children. The things that work, the pouting, the shouting, the ignoring, the malicing, the gossiping, are all the things we did when we were children. We either learned that they didn't work and dropped them like you and I. Yes. Or there are a lot of people still operating with that type of mechanism to say, okay, this is how I'm going to manipulate each other and get around people, as opposed to truly loving themselves. And again, we say it over and over on this show, it's not as easy. If somebody asks you the question, do you love yourself, and your answer is absolutely, of course, then you miss the whole point.
You missed the whole point, because I will share this with all of my viewers, and I thank Dax for joining us this morning from Rad Wellness Center. It is Wellness Wednesday. We talk about things that we are trying to get you to be well, because it's not just about food or detoxing. It's also about forgiving people. It's also about making the first move. Because I have a friend that I truly like, and we were talking on the phone months ago, and I said she misunderstood what I was saying, and I just could not get my point across to her.
Right.
So I hung up my phone because I don't want to get into a big fight on the phone. So I hung up my phone. Maybe not the best thing to do is, it's just like my husband. If we're getting into a thing on the phone and I don't want to jostle it, I just say, okay, bye, I'm hanging up now. Okay? So months pass, and there's something about your spirit, that inner voice that you have, that either brings someone that you really like back into your thoughts every single day. So you can't get rid of it. So the person is there, and I'm saying, okay, Diana, you need to fix this. Don't wait on them to fix it, even though you know they're wrong. So I called, and my goodness, she was so happy to hear from me. She gave me blessings on the phone. Diana, you're truly such a great person. You are wonderful, and that's the reason God blesses you. God bless you. Thank you for calling me. And I could not imagine in my wildest dreams that I would have gotten such a reception.
Sure.
And then when I shared it with my daughter says, well, maybe she was afraid to call you, Mommy, because she figured you're going to hang up the phone again. I said, no, but I'm not like that. Anyone who knows me, once you call, I am willing to take the call. Because even my husband would say to me, okay, that person is calling you now. What are they calling to pick your brain about? Because they're only calling to actually use you for something for themselves, as opposed to just calling to say, hi, how are you? How are things going? To me, if you're going to ask someone to do something for you and you haven't spoken to them for a while, please call them a couple of times before you ask the favor. Please, I beg you. I'm serious. Because it just seems so as if you're using the person.
Sure.
So it's not about just detoxing, and it's not about just, being on a diet and looking good and all that kind of stuff. It's about your mind. How do you feel about other people? Do you want the same thing for other people's children as you want for your children? Are you saying something bad about someone else's child when you have a child? Those are the things that I think about. When I see people, they're talking such bad things about another person's child. Oh, he's this, he's that, and whatever. And I'm going, do you have a kid? Do you know what can happen in a moment to your kid? And what can happen? You have sisters that are jealous of their other sister and how they're doing well. And shouldn't we all be just happy for people when they do well?
Sure.
Yeah, so these are some of the things that I wrestle with. It goes through my head, and I keep asking myself, why is it that it's so easy for me and so difficult for other people? Because my mom will tell you, I will be telling you off in a minute, and then I hang up the phone, and I'll call you back 5 minutes later and say, hi, how are you doing, Dax?
Get over it. Get over it. That's it.
Yeah.
When you understand that life is in the moment.
Amen.
And in that moment of feeling hurt, offended, or having to defend yourself, you're in that moment. But when you love yourself, you'll forgive yourself, you'll forgive the other person, and you realize that what is it all about? It's about living in the now.
Amen.
And right now you feel something in your heart that's saying, you know what, I have a feeling about this person that I need to address. Pick up the phone and call them.
Yes.
Get it off your chest.
Amen.
But before you even do that, pay attention to yourself. Ask yourself, why did this statement offend me so much? Why is this? Why am I reacting that way? Because look, if you're driving down the road and a madman on the side of the road cuss you off, you realize he's a madman and you don't hold him account. You laugh.
Exactly, you laugh and you go.
Right?
Yeah.
When you now have put an expectation on somebody in your life to say, if this person is really my friend, if this person really cares about me, then they would listen, then they would agree, then they would see what I'm saying. You have done an unfair assumption to believe that that person will know and understand how you feel. You alone understand it. You and I, Diana, can have these conversations and understand so much and be able to share and because we have a similar vibe, we have a similar approach, but we're not the only people that are right. There are people who have a completely different point of view.
Amen.
And we're entitled to theirs.
Absolutely. And I just want to let everyone know, you don't need to be fixed. You don't need to go to a psychiatrist. You can fix yourself. And the best way to start fixing yourself is through your mind and loving who you are, accepting how God made you, and just deal with that. Because if you deal with that, you don't need to go see the shrink, okay?
I agree.
All right, Dax, I know that you have lots of customers waiting, so I won't continue the conversation.
It's been a pleasure as usual, and I look forward to it. And, you know, I don't know, you know, if any interaction, if anybody wants to send me an email, not about the program, but just about the conversations we're having, if you want to introduce a topic or ask a question. And by the way, I want to be clear, I am no expert. All I am is an interested person in asking questions. And if I get an answer that makes sense to me, I'll share it. And if something I say don't make any sense, then
it's okay too.
I'm willing to change it. I have no commitment to anything but the truth. And the truth is a moving target. It continues to change and it continues to evolve, and I'm just trying to stay in the moment, to love myself, to share what makes sense and works for me. And that's what this program allows us to do. So Diana, thank you so much for the opportunity. To your viewers, I really appreciate being able to spend the time, and be well, live well, and
stay well. That's his line that you hear when you join the program all the time. All right, Dax? And then we will see you on Friday for Wow Big Friday. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day. All right. That was Dax Dunn, my special guest inside the program. And we thank you so much for joining us today. Just keep in mind that we are not perfect. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect. Dax is not perfect. But we want you to find the best life for yourself. And the way to begin, and the way to start, and the way to begin your journey is to live in the now. Because remember, your life can change in one flick of a moment. And then you say, oh my God, why did I stress myself out so much about that thing? Why did I do this to myself? So I'm asking you today to take time out to love yourself. Consider and mark it on your calendar that April 30th is International I Love Me Day. If you have a friend, if you have a family member that you have some kind of disagreement with, especially if it's your parent, try to fix it. Try to make it right. Keep in touch with your family and your friends, because good friends are hard to come by. And sometimes good friends are better than family members too. So I know that. I know some of you are saying, okay, Diana, some of my friends are actually better than my crazy family. But, you know, you got to give them love. Not everybody can be at the same place, in the same space, at the same time. Not everyone in your family is going to be successful. Some people are ashamed of some of their family members because they're not doing well. That's not the right thing to do. You should acknowledge the people who are your family, and if you can love them, love them. If you have to keep them at a distance to love them, that's okay too. But don't, you know, discard family members and not acknowledge them because you feel they're not up to your standard, or they're not making as much money as you are, or they're not as successful as you are. Let's just keep that in mind as we go about our day today. And, of course, April 30th, International I Love Me Day. Don't forget that you should go to your Facebook page and give me all the thumbs up and all the love that you can give me. Tell your friends, tell your family members, and even your enemies that you consider enemies. Just call them and say, look, there's a lady on the internet trying to tell you how to love yourself. Maybe it will work for you and you won't be so much my enemy anymore. Do that. Do something good. Ask God what good you can do for him today. Just do that. Please, as you wake up in the morning and you pray, just ask God, who can I help today? Who can I influence? Who can I give an encouraging word? Who can I lift out of their depression or out of the state of denial? And just be big enough always to say, I'm sorry, I know I was wrong, and I hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry. On that note, I say to you, au revoir, adios, and ciao. And if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. And always remember, 3 little words. Say them to yourself. I love me. Have a great day. And of course, we'll see you again tomorrow morning at 10:30 when we will delve right back into the news, some interesting things and some good advice for you. And also next Tuesday in the morning, we'll have Dr. Minus Ricketts. We're going to talk a lot about education, what's available to you as young people, and just a little encouragement in that department. And next Tuesday evening at 8, we'll have Dr. Melanie again with us, and we're going to talk about sexuality, sex, what makes you tick, what you should be doing for your partner, all those great things. And I have some articles that I found about the 25 ways to, say I love you to your spouse or your significant other. And we will just delve into that, and we'll talk about sex. 3 letters that kind of scare people. Sex is not something that you should keep away from discussion with your children because they're learning it from school. You need to be their first educator and their first sexual education teacher, because if you don't teach them, someone else will, and they might not be getting the message that you want them to get. So keep that in mind as you go about your day, and join us, of course, Wellness Wednesday. Dax will be back with us next Wednesday. And also this Friday, he'll join us for Wow Big Friday, when we go through all the week's news and we get his opinion. And you can always call on the program to 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. And that will take you to any questions you have, whether it's, booking me for your church or your function, or having me teach about my I Love Me crusade. And also expect my book. It's coming soon, Deadly Negligence, and you will truly learn that you must live in the moment. Have a great day. Talk to you later.